Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Josh, Urban Armed. Thanks for watching and checking out my video. This is going to be just kind of some thoughts about 2019 with my 2019 Tacoma. Bought this thing a year ago in December of 2018, so it was a 2019 model. They had just come out, and you know how they sell the next year models towards the end of the year. So I learned a lot having this, taking it off-road, doing a lot of camping, a lot of overlanding, if you will, and also moving into spending more time on the road. Is kind of, I'm a digital nomad, so I can work from anywhere, and what my goals are for 2020, and I'll be sharing that on YouTube, is how my setup is evolving so that I can work from the road. Does mean I have to be in a data, connected area for a lot of the time, but nonetheless, still spend as much time camping as possible. And I've learned a lot. I have not modified my Tacoma other than just looks and equipping it for being able to carry more stuff, my rooftop tent, my mountain bike, and camping gear. I did change the front grille just because I like the look of it. I didn't care for that big chicken wire grille on the front. Not really my style. But otherwise, everything's stock. I ordered this with TRD Pro wheels, so they do have the TRD Pro wheels on here. Other than that, yeah, there's nothing done. I've had the Toyota accessory mount I put in. I have a video on my channel for that. I also picked up this year, in 2019, this 91 80 series Land Cruiser that I've been having an absolute ball in. My dad and I took it out off-roading yesterday, and we just had a ball. There was a lot of snow. We're out near Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs. We had to go in through Woodland Park the back way. I forget the name of the trail, but I'll post it down below.
Gonna get over that rock.
That was pretty rad. Everybody made it.
Yeah.
And you only tapped just the rear right bumper. And your receiver hitch.
Yeah, it was a receiver hitch. I tapped more coming out of it than I did
Coming
going
out,
up.
just dropping down off that rock. Yeah. Oh. So I just wanted to talk about my experience with a brand new truck and on a 29-year-old truck. And that one's definitely set up very differently. But if you're looking at getting into off-roading or overlanding and camping and stuff, like why you might consider a truck, why you might consider an SUV, like a 4Runner, a Land Cruiser, something like that. Yeah, I'm kind of Toyota centric, so sorry about that. If you're a Jeep person, I do have a lot of respect for Jeeps. I think they're cool. I just like Toyotas, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. So we're just going to look at the side of the truck. I'm going to talk a couple of things, and just mental notes I've had over the last year. Some things I like and don't like about this truck that I plan on looking at changing, especially for like clearance and different bumpers and suspension setup. One of the things with my Land Cruiser is it has a very high angle steel bumper on it, and it has I think it's like a 2.5 inch lift, Old Man Emu and Rancho shocks. So that has a big advantage when you're going over like major rutted out trails, and when you exit the trail, when you come down, depending upon what direction you're going, how much clearance you have before you hit something. The trails we were going on yesterday, there's one particular section where I would have definitely bashed the crap out of the rear bumper on this guy because it is a factory suspension. It has the Bilstein suspension that comes with the TRD off-road. So let's change the angle. So as you see on the side here, I've got the Predator running boards, which are better than nothing, and they're functional for getting in and out of the vehicle. I have used them as sliders, but they're not sliders. They're there to protect the car, and they have done that in the past. Had a video where I went to Buena Vista, and I basically put all the weight of the truck on these things, thinking they were gonna get completely ripped off. To my surprise, they only bent a little bit. So I'll give it to that Toyota. They're pretty strong. Not sliders though, they're just side steps. So the reason why I'm even talking about these is they really protrude out and down. So it kind of even reduces my clearance by yet another 4 or 5 inches because of these side steps hanging down. So that's something that I have to address. The suspension, though it's pretty good, I want to be able to carry more weight. And the weight that I carry currently, I definitely get that Tacoma sag in the back. So that's got to be addressed. And there's also the tires. These tires aren't bad. These are the ones that come on the TRD Pros. And they do great in the snow and mud. I haven't had any major issues. But they're only like a 31-inch tire, which isn't terrible. But I wanted at least a 33. So I have a lot more flexibility as far as like what I can drive on off-roading, what I can climb over, things like that. But I will say that these have actually been pretty damn good tires. These are just the Goodyear Wranglers on here, and they're not bad. I'm not going to talk bad about them. Other than that, the truck has performed quite well for everything I put it through in the last year. Camping trips, off-roading a good deal in different types of weather, primarily mud and snow, but things have got to change on this thing. So this is a brand new vehicle-ish. I mean, I bought it brand new a year ago, and then my Land Cruiser is 29 years old and was considerably less. So when you're, looking at buying a vehicle for off-roading and camping and overlanding, you may want to look at buying something that's, inexpensive and put your money into the suspension and the tires and possibly some protection and some recovery gear like your winches and traction boards and all that kind of fun stuff, versus just spending all the money on a brand new truck and then piling on top of that. I am kind of got certain plans for this, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see how those things come to evolve. If you saw my previous video on the Land Cruiser, you know that I bought it and it already had the lining on it. It already had the lift, the tires, the bumper, the lights, everything. Everything you see here is the way I bought it. I picked this thing up for $8,500. So you can kind of look at that, $40,000, $8,500. This one was already kind of built out. You probably may not get as lucky. This thing has been in really good condition. It kept really well. It's in good condition. The engine has 195,000 miles on it, and came with even the racks and everything. So this is basically like a turnkey off-road vehicle. You could just throw your tent in here and all your gear, cooler, whatever, and just go. Versus something like this, a Tacoma you buy brand new. Yeah, you could do the same thing in that as well, but you can go a lot more places with something like this because it already has the suspension, the high approach, bumper, the bigger tires on it, and you can just from the rip, start out being able to go further places than a stock truck can, and that's pretty much any factory truck. Sure, you can buy a Raptor or something. We're not talking about that. We're talking about kind of like more about my experiences between an old and new vehicle, what I've learned from them, and what kinds of things that I've learned, and incorporating that into the Tacoma build. Like, how do I want to change this so this expensive truck can meet the same capabilities, or hopefully exceed them at some point, than a 29-year-old vehicle that's already built out for under 10 grand. So these are the kinds of things that, if you're looking at buying an off-road vehicle, like, take into consideration, because it's really about where you can go, what you can do. Sure, dependability is a huge factor. Will this break down more and have more issues? Probably so. But if you're mechanically minded and you're okay with that and being prepared for that, that's probably totally fine. And if not, then you may want to look at something buying something newer, or something that has a warranty, something that's less likely to break down or give you any problems. So yeah, that's pretty much, compare and contrast. That's what I've learned. 2019, 2020 is going to be a fun year for experimenting, trying different things, testing new gear, especially as it pertains to me as someone who's also trying to work while I'm camping, while I'm overlanding, and how well that works for me. So I usually have two different tents. I have one that I sleep in and one that's like my office. And so those are things I'm experimenting. I've got different tents that I'm going to be trying out, doing reviews on those and how they work, not just for camping, but for multi-use. I'm doing a lot with my hands. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. The other thing is like my power system and my solar and you know, just overall like how to keep things charged and going without having to you know, get crazy expensive. So I've got a pretty simple setup, so I'll be doing reviews on how that's working for me with like my Goal Zero equipment and other things that I might be looking at and changing. And also the Tacoma is probably going to get some changes, a nice little update to it so it can meet the same thing as its almost 30-year-old car. Here comes the Amazon package. All right, so had a little interruption from the Amazon lady, but no problem. It's always nice getting packages delivered. In closing, really, my conclusion is that I have no specific conclusion, but that everything is basically an experiment and changing and evolving, both from how I have things set up to what I plan to do with them and how you know, I want to mount stuff and everything. So 2020 should be a fun year for figuring out and trying different things out for camping, traveling. We've got some really cool trips planned this year, and both, you know, in different vehicles and both together, and how they work for me and my setup. So that's what I plan to do more videos on. Yes, it's definitely turning more into like an overlanding off-road channel versus a lot of my gun videos. Unfortunately, those gun videos have gotten me into a lot of trouble with YouTube and changes to policies and demonetization of my channel, which I don't really, not too concerned about the monetization aspect, but more about not getting my channel deleted. So if you like this kind of stuff, definitely hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, Urban Armed, and yeah, let me know what you think. Old versus new, build versus buy, built not bought. Even though this thing isn't built yet, I'm planning some cool fun stuff for it. And you know what your take is when you're thinking about building something out specifically to kind of take the abuse from the trails and the weather and gear and sleeping in it or on top of it or whatever. And you know, some things that will be kind of different, or just how you know, you like your amenities, your Bluetooth connections and all that versus no Bluetooth. You can add stuff, of course, but anyway, I'm rambling at this point. So thanks for watching. Appreciate any input. I'd like to read the comments and reply back. So definitely let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, until next time, catch you guys later.